Hey everyone, welcome to the Whispers of Turkish Stars channel. Settle in, because every juicy detail is right here. Before we dive deep, hit subscribe and share this video so you don't miss a whisper. Thank you for being here with us tonight as the entertainment world hums with one name, one moment, and two people who seem determined to write their own ending, Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel. The spark that set everything alight came at a discreet reception tucked inside one of Istanbul's most exclusive neighborhoods, where the city's brightest tend to vanish from the noise and let romance come up for air. In that hidden room, with soft lights and low music, Barış moved close to Yağmur and slipped a ring onto her finger. Not a showy performance, not a staged spectacle, just a heartbeat stretched into forever. Guests froze. A few phones flicked upward. And within minutes, that single gesture blew up online like a firework. The clip of his hand lingering at her fingertips, then that smile, carved a path through social media, racing across timelines as if the city itself had been waiting for it. Those who witnessed it could barely keep their voices down afterward. One guest murmured that Barış and Yağmur drifted through the room as if the crowd had faded into fog, gazing at each other with the gentle certainty of two people who already knew the answer before the question was asked. It felt like a scene from the most honest movie, said another, recalling the hush that followed the moment the ring caught the light. For a pair who have been spotted together more often over the last few years, yet kept their lips sealed tight. This was the boldest chapter turn imaginable. No press release, no red carpet speech. Just a ring, and a decision that spoke volumes. Online, the reaction was immediate and loud. Fans launched #BarışYağmur into the stratosphere within minutes, a tidal wave of finally, sandwiched between "is this real" and "I knew it." Some called it a modern-day fairy tale. Others confessed the sight made them ache with sweetness and a tinge of envy. The ring itself became its own phenomenon. Minimalist, refined, with a line of light that didn't shout but glowed, its elegance drew applause from tabloids and stylists alike. Commentators leaned in to study its symbolism, whispering that it was more than an accessory. It felt like a door opening. A quiet, definitive step into a future they were ready to claim. Inside their circle, the mood was clear, a triumph of love. That's how friends described it to those who asked too many questions. The talk behind closed doors suggested that Barış and Yağmur are planning a small, private celebration with their families soon. No grand stages, no flashing lights, just hands folded around a table and the sound of home. And yet, the ring exchange marked a shift that no private room could contain. It's already becoming the storyline that pulls the entire industry into a single conversation, the kind people will retell as if they were there when history knocked quietly. Of course, the buzz split the room in the way only real stories can. Supporters posted hearts and hopeful wishes, calling it the sincerest symbol of devotion. Skeptics shook their heads and questioned whether it came too soon. A few voices linked the timing to reports about Barış's recent personal chapter closing, whispers of a formal separation, the dust of which has barely settled in the public eye. The timeline drew lines in the sand. Was this courage or haste? Those who've observed them closely insist the bond is nothing new, that they've weathered time with patience and discipline, simply refusing to hand their hearts over to the rumor mill until they were ready. To them, the ring wasn't a beginning so much as a revelation. Guests described the two as almost weightless that night, protected inside their own orbit. The gleam in Yağmur's eyes, the softened edges of Barış's smile. Those are the details the photos can't capture fully, but everyone remembers. Thousands of likes, shares, and breathless comments swelled in seconds. Discussions about the ring's cut and the way it sat against her skin ran parallel to debates over pacing. How can it move this fast? Collided with "this is exactly how love moves when it's real." Meanwhile, the pair let their gestures do the talking. No press huddle. No on-the-spot answers. Just fingertips brushing, a laugh shared at the edge of the dance floor, and the promise of more to come. And that is the thread pulling us forward. Word from community insiders is that an official announcement may land soon. The rumor mill says a family gathering is on the horizon, something tender and small to mark the beginning they've chosen in their own words, on their own time. It's the kind of moment that makes journalists step back and admit that this is more than a tabloid headline. It's a declaration about privacy, about choice, about how two public figures can insist on living at their own pace when the world would rather sprint for them. They hid in mystery before because they had to. Now, the ring feels like their way of stepping into the sun. What happens next online is predictable and irresistible. Another wave of excitement, another surge of curiosity, another round of interpreting every photograph like a clue. People are already composing the myth, calling it the gesture that glowed after a storm, the first bright torch held aloft after a period of silence. Media corners are divided again, split neatly between those who call it proof of a love that outlasted waiting and those who still worry about timing and aftermath. Yet even the skeptics can't deny the warmth in the room that night, or the steady way they looked at each other like they'd finally come home. In the hours after the reception, conversations behind the scenes sharpened into distinct angles. One camp treats the ring as incontestable evidence that this relationship has sat quietly at the core of their lives for longer than anyone guessed. Another camp points to the speed of public acknowledgement and raises an eyebrow. How soon is too soon to claim joy out loud? But guests who stood within arm's reach tell a different story, that the moment didn't feel rushed, it felt inevitable. That the hush wasn't shock, it was respect. That the entire room understood it had been invited to witness something unfolding across time instead of a stunt designed for attention. Within minutes, short videos of the moment multiplied across feeds. Fans wrote messages brimming with support: "Protect this, let them be happy, this is the romance we needed." Others, cautious but curious, asked the questions everyone pretends not to ask: what changed? Why now? And still, the smallest details held the loudest notes: the way Yağmur turned her hand toward the light to look at the ring again, almost shyly, the way Barış hovered near, not possessive, just present, a quiet anchor in a crowded room. Those images are the ones stamping themselves onto memory, shaping the legend before the official words even arrive. If you listen to industry talk, the near future is clear enough to sketch. A private gathering with family. A measured reveal that won't toy with the public but won't surrender the sanctuary they've built. The ring made the first statement, the next will be about boundaries. Because, as many observers noted, this event isn't just a romantic headline, it's a manifesto about the way two stars can rewrite the rules without losing what makes them human. They've kept cameras at arm's length for years. Now they're stepping through the door on their terms, with a ring that says their patience wasn't silence, it was strength. It's already echoing as one of those crystalline scenes the public never forgets, the moment a whispered story found its voice. Whether you file it under bold love or delicate reconciliation with the past, the truth is that it moved people. It made fans remember why they care about love stories at all. It made critics soften, if only for a breath, as they realized that sometimes timing isn't neat, but it can still be right. And for those who still question the pace? Time has its own logic, and not all clocks tick as loudly as headlines. Some run quietly, beating in the rhythm of two hearts that were always going to meet here. As the night ended, neither Barış nor Yağmur offered a quote to the waiting press. Instead, they let a series of glances, smiles, and near-silent exchanges carry their message. Their departure wasn't rushed, they didn't flee the room. They took their time, said their goodbyes, and walked out into the Istanbul night like two people who had decided to stop looking over their shoulders. And outside, the city seemed to glow with the kind of light that follows relief. Fans kept posting, rewatching, pausing at the same seconds as if those seconds might confess more secrets. But the secret is simple: they chose each other, publicly, finally. As for the cultural conversation, it has only grown louder. Analysts frame the ring as a strategic step, a controlled narrative pivot designed to reclaim their story. Friends insist it was no strategy at all, just love finding its moment. Both readings can be true. What matters is how they carried themselves when the room fell silent. No theatrics. No begging for approval. Only tenderness, consideration, and the certainty that this choice no longer belongs to rumor. That is why tonight's images feel different from every grainy photo that came before. Authenticity can't be faked, the camera knows it, and so do we. So here we are, watching a romance cross its own finish line and race into another beginning. The hashtag is still climbing. The ring is still being analyzed. The speculation about an intimate family celebration grows louder with each whisper. And yet the center holds steady, two people who would rather be known for the way they treat each other than for the noise that follows their names. Perhaps that's why the moment resonates so deeply. It doesn't just tell us that love wins, it reminds us that love can wait, then walk in with its head high, even when the world hasn't made it easy. We'll keep listening for the official word, the caption that turns the rumor into a line of text they own. Until then, the story of this night belongs to those who saw it, those who felt the temperature in the room change, those who recognized the courage it takes to stand before a crowd and say nothing, because the truth is already visible. When the announcement comes, and it won't be about proving anything. It will be about honoring the journey that brought them to this exact second, ring shining softly between their hands. That's the tale that has Istanbul whispering, the feed refreshing, the comments piling up in columns of joy and debate. Whether you believe it's a symbol of true love or a leap taken sooner than expected, you cannot deny its power. The night made a promise. It promised that Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel are finished hiding from their own happiness. And if the next chapter looks anything like this one, quiet, brave, and beautifully certain, then we're witnessing the beginning of something that will be talked about for a long, long time. That's where we'll leave you for now. If you enjoyed the inside scoop, don't forget to subscribe to Whispers of Turkish Stars and share this video with fellow fans who love a story told with heart. We'll be here, waiting for the next clue, the next glance, the next post that turns the page. Until then, good night from Whispers of Turkish Stars, where every whisper becomes a story you'll never forget.